Hello, everyone, and welcome to another video from podcastdirector.com. So we've got our domain name, we've got the web host, we have installed WordPress, or we had them do it for us. We've pointed our domain name to our web host WordPress installation. They gave us all our credentials and information via email. And now we come to our domain name and we log in. So you can come in right through the front, and on the right down here, you'll see site admin and stuff. It would say log in if I wasn't already logged in. So we can head to the site admin area after we're all logged in. And this is what we're greeted with. It's welcome to your new WordPress site. So let's go through some of the stuff on the left over here. So obviously we have home, we have updates. So when there's something to be updated, there'll be a number next to there for your plugins, for your WordPress itself. Posts. So we haven't done anything yet, so we don't have any posts yet. We can easily create posts here. Media, we can add our own media stuff. Let's go in there. So if we wanted to, we could click add new, and then we could select files from the computer to upload to our site. You can also do this when you are just when you're just making your posts. You can also do it right from the posts themselves. Library. Sometimes this is good to see your media library, see what all you've uploaded to the site. I do that sometimes. Then over here we have links. So these are pretty much a lot of the stock links that come with your WordPress installation. So if you wanted to get rid of them, you could select them, and you could delete them and get rid of them. You know, it's up to you if you want to have them on there or don't want to have them on your site. Pages. Now we haven't done anything yet, so we don't have any pages, but let's create one real quick. Let's add new. Let's say we're going to make a page about us. About us. And then we say, hey. And we put a whole bunch of other stuff in there. And to the right, there's a publish button. The screen grab is not going to show that because I've tightened up the screen grab. Okay, so we have our first page. It's hey, about us. And so through there, you could check out all your pages that you currently have or add new pages. Comments. You could see all the comments that people are leaving for you in here. You know, once you're first starting, you're probably not going to have any for a while, but that's where it's at anyway. And let's go to settings first, and then we'll get into appearance. Plugins is going to be its own separate video, so let's not worry about plugins right now. So on the user or settings front, we can go under general. And under here, we could create a site title. I've already put something up there. A tagline. You could put something in there. Your WordPress address and site address. You know, there's some specific reasons why those could be different, but we're not going to worry about that right now. You can change your date format, the time format, and if you scroll down further, there's save changes. And what day of the week do you want the week to start on? And it's always set to Monday, but I always change mine to Sunday. All right. So under settings, we can go to writing now. Let's go over there. And here we could just have how big the box is that we're typing into. What's our default post category? The format for our posts. And you'll have to play around with that to see it firsthand. I'm not going to get into that. Default link category. Well, if you delete the links, then that's irrelevant. If you don't, you can mess with that. Reading. So on here, you could have the front page be your latest post, or you could click this box and have it be a static page, and then you could choose your About Us page or whatever page you created if you wanted to do that. Then you can also specify how many blog pages show at most, how many posts. Syndication feed shows the most recent how many items. For right now, we're just leaving that all alone. And we'll get out of there. We'll go into discussion. This is where you kind of tighten things up if you're a person that doesn't want to get really deep into the comments and things of that nature. You could come in here and you could be like, well, users must be logged in, must be registered and logged in to comment. I'll close comments after 14 days or specify whatever number days you want to do. This is if you're a person that doesn't really want to deal with a lot of commenting. Maybe you have just your own commentary site, and you're just looking for an outlet to give your own opinion, but you don't want to turn it into arguments every day, every week. that might be a reason you would tighten this up. Then anyone post a comment, so you could have it emailed to you. Hey, there's a new comment. A comment is held for moderation. And what I do is I hold comments in moderation even if they have one link in them, because you'll find out that a lot of spammers can find your site right away because they have bots just going out gathering intel, and they'll find you and they will offer you Viagra and watches and all kinds of stupid stuff like that in your comments. So we'll get into that in the plugin section on what you can do about that. Media settings. It's just basic, how big do you want your thumbnails to be? I just leave this stuff like it is. So I generally use just like thumbnail size pictures in my posts. But there could be a reason why you want them bigger. Who knows? And let's go down to privacy, which I don't understand why you wouldn't want search engines to find your site, but I always want them to find my site, so I leave that alone. Permalinks, this one's really important. The default is really ignorant. It is your site's name / P equals 123. Yeah, you're not going to get too much metadata and keyword search terms out of that, so you want to go to post name. That's what I personally choose. So if my post name was, I don't know, LeBron James quits basketball, then I can get ranked by Google and other search engines on those keywords if I have a relevant article and people are sharing it all around the net. Then that page, that post would go up, up, up in the ranks. All because it was relevant. It had the keywords in the title and all that jazz. All right, let's go on to users. And we're going to your own profile. So when you first start out, you could change your color scheme. You could put your first and last name in there, a nickname, display name. You could have it display something different. You can update your email address. I usually run mine through my Gmail or something like that. So it's something I'll check more often because I have several websites. So I can't have a ton of different email addresses for each site. I prefer to just have them come to one place. So that's cool under the users right there. So we will mess around with plugins in the next video. Like I said, we could go into appearance and let's look at the themes. Here's the stock ones that come with it as of December 2012. And if you looked at podcastdirector.com, that's just a stock theme that I tweaked. So you could do it that way if you want to play around, or you could go out and get one for free, another kind of theme for free, or there are some that you purchase. I purchase mine most of the time. And I'll pay anywhere from $50 to $70, $80 for one. Because there's some nice themes out there that really spruce up your site without having to do a lot of this hard work yourself. But let's say, for argument's sake, you just stuck with the stock theme. You could come down here. We're not going to mess with widgets right now. We're going to do that in the plugins video. But you could come down here and you could say background. Click that. And then you could browse your computer for a background image for your website. So you could find a picture that you have the legal rights to use, of course. And you could upload it and then have it be your background, but it's got to be big and high resolution so it looks right. And boy, can that really enhance your site. That's what I did at podcastdirector.com. That background image is just a cool photo that you can just, do yourself. I think that's awesome that they let you do this. This editor area, this is for some, more technical. I'm not going to get into that on any of these videos because we don't want to be messing around with the code and then you blame me if your site breaks. Header. Now, this is where I was a little confused when I first started using WordPress because I don't know if they had this robust of selection here, but on these installations, you could browse and put your own header up here that meets their suggested height and width, 1000 by 288. I think that's awesome. So what I did when I made podcastdirector.com is I just got the properties because I didn't even look at that. I got the properties myself and I saved this picture to my computer. Then I opened it in Photoshop and replicated the size, made my own background, dragged some pictures on top of it and stuff, and just had fun with it. And that's what you could do too. Just open it in some kind of editing program and make your own header and browse your computer for it, upload it, and then you can choose it and save your changes, which I think is really cool that they allow you to do that. Then down here where it says show header text with your image, I'm going to click on that, and then you could change the color of the text. But I'm going to click on it and save, and then see, there's Hank's Comedy website. Laugh till you cry. So that would be up there. Then if I uncheck it and resave, gone in 60 seconds. So it's gone, and that's that. So that's really cool. Now I think we'll go to, let's go to a post. Let's make well, you know what? Let's make it categories. So for categories, I've already purposely created a category called podcast. Then I've created, and like right here is what you would do. You just type in here something, something, something. You make the slug the same name. You choose the parent. If there isn't any, you would just say none. You leave it alone. Then you would add new category. That's how I created those to begin with. So we'd get rid of that stuff. But I created podcasts, and then underneath that as subcategories. So here where it says the parent, then when I created iTunes Review Show and Stir Crazy, I put those under podcasts, so they would show up under there. So that's awesome. So that's how you do the categories. You make a menu. You just make your name, and then you kind of figure out the hierarchy of how it's going to work. So that's really cool if you ask me. So we've got a few categories there. So let's add some posts. Let's go to all posts. And then I say, oops, I meant to go to add new. So let's add new, and let's say this post is, I don't know, the crazy show. I don't know what I'm doing. So we'll just type some gibberish, and we're going to publish that page. And then under here, where it says, let me move my screencast. So right down here where it says the categories, I can uncheck that. And I can say, well, you know what? It's under podcast under Stir Crazy. This is the first episode. The Crazy Show. Let's come back up here. and we'll say it's number 1 or something. This is the crazy show number 1. So let's say we do that. I'll update it. There's an update tag to the right. And then, so we can view our post. So then we have the crazy show. So obviously you would make it look a lot better than that. And such. So it's just having fun, folks. All right. Let's since we made a post right there, let's go under appearance menus. All right, so we want to create a menu. So let's call this menu. And we'll just save that. Now on here, we want to add Stir Crazy to the menu. So we added Stir Crazy over here, and we'll drag it under there, under podcasts. Let's save. And then thinking we're going to have to put something under podcast. Yep. We're going to have to put something under podcast itself. So on the post, or on the page, excuse me, that was titled podcast, let's create something. Or, okay, it was a category. Okay, so let's create a post under there. Podcast. And then this could be, detailing each show. So each show's details. So then, let's drag our little screen a little bit for a second. Then over here under categories, I would make that the category itself, podcast, and it would be a detailed list of every show and a link to their individual page, which, we'll do that another time. So on here, so now let's go back to the front, and then we might have to go to menu again to get this to get it fixed. So on here, you can see that my recent posts are coming through to the front. I can change that so it's just under this podcast category or whatever, static page or whatever. So let's go back to the menus. And let's add. Okay, so under down towards the bottom, down here, theme locations. So your theme supports one menu. So if you're using this basic one, that's what's different about this than some of the custom ones have. You can have multiple menus. So you do have to change to the menu you've created, and that's why it wasn't showing up on the front. All right, so we save that. Let's drag our screen back up a little bit. And let's go home. Let's visit the home site. And there we go. We have podcasts right there. So we could go to Stir Crazy or the iTunes review show. So that's just a little brief overview of how to get your feet wet in WordPress. Let me just go back to the dashboard, and we can look and see if there's anything else we need to just check out. We've kind of looked over settings. We're going to do plugins in the next video. Appearance is the main thing, I think. So getting in here and rolling up your sleeves and working on it, or having somebody else do some of the work for you is fine as well. Or buying a theme and then just coming in here and installing it, clicking that install themes. So if you bought one off the web or downloaded one, you could get in here and you could upload it. And upload it from your computer, or you could install some of the ones that they have from their stuff, which is cool too. you could just get in there and search for different stuff. What color scheme do you want it? What kind of width does it have to have? What kind of features and all that jazz. But that is about it for getting inside your WordPress theme for the first time, kind of navigating around and stuff. I hope I showed you enough stuff in there. If there's some things you're a little bit confused on or whatever, you can Google search the web for other free information out there. Or you can ask me to focus on something in an upcoming video or something. You can just head to podcastdirector.com and email me. It's that simple. But I hope that was a brief and informative enough little tutorial of just getting off the ground. But we'll get into widgets, all the sidebar stuff in the next video. So stay tuned for that, and thank you for joining me for this video.